Goody, goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, joined by my fellow co-hosts and filmmakers, John and Lane Woolscroft.
Guys, I went to get some delicious fast food the other day.
You did?
I wanted to get me a double down. So I...
The heart attack sandwich?
I faithfully wanted to find a double down, so I passed through, and I said, I am here now. And,
now?
Yeah, and a Twisted Pear gave me a delicious double down. It was so good.
Wow. I really like what you did there. I didn't know what path you were on at first. Do you guys remember the double down?
I do. It was the heart attack sandwich, right?
No.
Where chicken is bread? Is that it?
Fun fact. Yeah. So for anybody that doesn't remember or anybody that's a good person and doesn't eat, heart attack slop, the double down was a sandwich.
Ooh, heart attack slop. Can I have
slop.
one?
The double down sandwich was actually a sandwich from KFC where they were like, you know what? Fuck you. You don't get a bun. It's going to be 2 chickens with bacon and cheese in the middle.
And
is that
sauce,
what it was?
and a sauce.
Was there a
and
sauce?
There was a sauce.
Yeah. Well, one of our friends, we were working at the bar at the time, and one of our friends like doubled down on it, I guess you could say. And they would get a side of gravy for dipping.
Oh God.
I mean,
I think that's literally like adding insult to injury at that point.
No, I feel like you need to be excited about that because it's amazing.
I'm surprised in Pittsburgh they didn't add French fries.
But anyway, fun fact: if you looked up the calories, it was actually fewer calories than a Baconator.
Yeah, it's because of bread.
And
it's bread.
And if you went
carbs are bad, folks.
If you went for the breaded option, because they had I think they either had, was it either extra crispy or original, or was there a grilled option?
I think they had a grilled option.
If you went for the breaded option, it actually was a little better for you because it had more fiber.
That's crazy.
Thank you for joining us here on Fast Food Health Corner with Lane.
I have a feeling
Listen,
like...
I want to talk about anything other than fucking Breen, so you can bite my
Here's
asshole.
the thing. Okay. You have to get really right up there and you can bite the asshole there. But I think like post-capitalism, once they go to the history books and they're like, well, let's get on to the capitalist food. And we get to 2000s, what was that, 2010s when that came out?
I think so, yeah.
So they'll get to the meal consisted of a double down sandwich and a
Where
Baconator.
Chicken was bread.
there was a concept of making chicken the bread.
Don't forget the side of gravy.
It really sounds like something you think of when you're high. Like, dude,
yeah.
why don't we get chicken bread, man?
Or they're like, hey, I want a pizza that the crust is only pineapple. You have to be really out of your mind to even think about that.
Or that little hot dog crust pizza. That
oh my
God.
God!
Oh man, yeah.
Or stuffed crust pizza. You're losing
Guys,
toppings.
What do we do? I think we just lost half.
We just lost. Everyone's like, I thought we were going to talk about terrible movies.
Or maybe
we
they're
just spent the first 4 minutes of this episode talking about
maybe
fast
they're
food.
excited for us.
This is my fault.
3
I'm
minutes.
sorry.
3 minutes.
3 minutes,
not
okay.
4.
Brian,
Okay.
what episode are we on? What are we doing
We are
here?
on
What is
episode 168, and this is the return, finally, maybe finally,
of our
Long
Lord and
anticipated.
Savior.
of our long series that we started about 2
Lord
years
and
ago
Savior.
called the Breenpocalypse. So this is the second
All hail Lord
horseman.
Breen.
All
The
hail
second
Lord
coming, if you
Breen.
will.
The second coming of his Lord and Savior, Neil Breen.
Emperor Breen pretend.
Emperor Breen.
Hashtag not my savior.
No. The Breenpocalypse returns with our second horseman. Now, to catch you up here, if you're a new listener, you can listen to our episode on Fateful Findings. That's fine. Whit was one
to change that name, the Four Horsemen, because he has 5 movies
right.
out now.
In the time that we started the Breenpocalypse, he has created another abomination.
It's true.
And we will eventually get to that. I think. Do you have that now?
Yes.
Okay, so he's got that.
Twisted
John
Pair
possesses
2
them all, I
is
believe.
in production as
Oh
well.
God, no.
So he made a sequel.
What? The sequel no one asked for or wanted.
But the point is that we have already made mention, and we've canceled Breenpocalypse a couple times because of how difficult Neil Breen makes it to order his goddamn movies.
Right.
Assuming that you're willing to spend
$25 a
god-awful amount of money.
DVD.
Yeah, for his horrible movies. you have to go onto his website, and apparently you have to order Faithful Findings, and in the comments, put the name of which movie you want. If you don't want Faithful Findings, if you want Double Down, you have to put it in the comment section where he will send you a DVD Sharpied with Double Down on it. And for $25, it's fucking mad.
It really is.
But you know, through our like connections and through back channels,
we did pay for it. We did pay for it.
The back of the dark web, we were able to.
Well, John, you paid for it. You took one for the team.
I found somebody online who has made copies of all of his movies, and they sell Neil Breen collections.
And listen, so we are outside of that. Yeah. We just purchased it. You can go after Neil Breen if you're listening to this. You can go after that person. Not us.
We're not revealing our goddamn sources.
We're not revealing our sources.
Neil, if you're listening to this, thank you.
Neil, if you're listening to this, we have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
We're in trouble.
I mean, I can't say that he doesn't, because, I mean, literally, the man, makes it so difficult to order his fucking movies.
And also, we don't want to give him the money.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, Neil.
And if you can get copies of his movies, I can't suggest it enough, because they're madness. They're madness personified. He is a megalomaniacal psychopath.
We might disagree there. I would say maybe some solid YouTube clips if you can find them.
I would say that if you are like me and you don't want to throw good money away, you can very easily get a synopsis of these films through YouTube.
I mean, I'm saying because I'm just saying you shouldn't have to watch them in their entirety.
No, you shouldn't.
You should. It's a rite of passage.
I am looking out for you, dear listeners.
None of us can get into heaven unless we've seen all of the Savior's work.
Oh my God!
You will be quizzed at the gates. Welcome to heaven. I am Neil God. Do you have your ruby? I have it in my hand, Mr.
No, it would be like, so in my movie Double Down, did you think that I saved that girl from the cancer
okay,
with
guys,
my
we're
fool's
putting the cart
gold?
before the
Do
horse.
I have big balls in the pool?
Do I have big balls?
Whoa. Okay.
Well, the thing about Neil Breen here is that, he is kind of a mystery. There's not much on the internet.
We do got to say that this is his first film. This is the one that most people.
2000.
I would say this is the problem. Most people kind of have. 2005.
Yeah.
This is his first film, and it shows that it's his first film. I would say this is probably his most well known one. I think Red Letter Media discussed Double Down.
Faithful Findings, I would say.
Faithful Findings?
Is what he's,
Okay,
yeah,
so
I would say so
that's
too.
what he's blown up from.
Then I would say this one. But I Am Here Now and, and his other, Twisted Pair are not as well known.
No.
Right.
These are
These two are the primary
Faithful Finding is the Citizen Kane of his garbage, and then this one was the first one, and you never forget your first.
Yeah. Well, this is a great episode of Red Letter Media, though, too, because Max Landis is on this episode, and Max Landis is so upset by this film. He's on the floor when they're watching it, just out of pure confusion and upsetness.
You know what?
He's slid down the couch, and his knees are up around his ears because he's just watching.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched this last night. I posted my reaction on Instagram. And you know what? If I didn't have kids at home, if I didn't have the wife at home, I would have been screaming at the screen.
Seriously, well,
because I understand Max Landis completely. This was a labor to watch it.
I made the mistake of watching it sober.
I did too. I watched it sober too.
John, of course, is the root of all evil in my life. And no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's why you married him, right?
Not far off. Yeah.
Well, we watched it together, and I was so angry. It wasn't like I wanted to divorce him or anything. I just never wanted to watch another movie again. I lost
any movie, right?
any movie. I just
not
lost.
Poltergeist, not Sandlot.
I lost all hope for the universe. I was I haven't seen Knives Out yet, and I don't even care.
Not 8.5. You didn't care what the movie was,
I don't even want to see 8.5. Wow. I was I don't even want to see any movies anymore. I was I just want this to end. I want it all to end.
I've said this before, and I think I said this about Birdemic. I think I said this about Last
Vampire
Vampire on Earth.
Times
I think I said about Last Vampire on Earth too. Yeah. This really was the worst film I have ever seen.
You think this is worse than Last Vampire on Earth?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yes.
Easily.
Yes.
Easily worse.
Because I could get just a little tiny smidgen of enjoyment. That scene where she's got the gun and she's shooting people.
I giggled several times.
That gave me so much joy to watch.
There was joy.
So much joy.
Guys, calm down.
No.
Listen, John, if you're going to bring this shit into our lives and make us upset, then you have to deal with the fallout.
This is the Breenpocalypse, okay?
Right. But the thing is, Neil Breen, there's not much to be known about him. Literally, I hate using Wikipedia as a source.
It is. It's acceptable now.
But I mean, like,
Well,
what are you supposed to do? Like, there's
but
no
there's
biography
nothing else
on the
on
guy.
him.
There's
Yeah.
no real
So-
presence. He's
so
got
ju-
social media, right?
Here, Neil Breen.
Yeah, give us some stats on Mr. Breen.
Feed the baby birds.
Born November 23rd, 1958. Neil Breen is an American independent filmmaker, architect, and real estate agent. His films have garnered a cult following for their nonsensical writing, poor editing, and low-budget nature.
Clearly, he did not contribute to this article.
Now, his life and career. So here's the thing. It says, according to Neil Breen, he has worked in the architecture and real estate agencies before moving on to self-financing his own films. And then that is it. Because then it goes into talking about his style of filmmaking. Sure. But that is all the...
What does it say his style is?
Oh, God.
Breen writes and stars in each of his own films. The
As a
characters
god.
he portrays hold advanced and often superhuman abilities to use them in grandiose struggles against corrupt forces and institutions.
Oh my God.
Fateful Finding features Breen as a hacker imbued with supernatural powers by a magical stone he found as a child, who uses his skills to expose government and corporate corruption. He's very much into like gems and rubies, yeah.
Gems and rubies. Interests include gems and rubies.
And apparently, like, he's Thanos because that's
He's
like,
Thanos.
and I am here now. He wants to kill 100 million people. But
Apparently, okay.
While
All
in
right,
Double
so-
Down, he plays a rogue government super agent. Hold on. In
No,
other films,
I'm good now.
his protagonist is a godlike, messianic, and otherwise chosen figure. And it goes on and on. But
In
like,
the same ilk. Okay.
Yeah,
I got
and-
it now. Okay.
yeah, and that is literally all I could find. I'm like, there's got to be interviews with him. Something out
He
there.
did do one. I did find that there was one.
I'm gonna reach out to him. See how it goes.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be great. We see how good you got along with Daddy Derek. So
Oh,
I have high
man.
hopes. I have high hopes.
I mean, I did see one interview that he did on YouTube. It was with, I think, either radio station or a podcast. And he comes across as a normal human being.
Like, not as a Looney Tune.
Yes.
Well, he's a
Okay.
real estate broker. Like, he has to have some sales ability.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
But like I'm listening to it, I'm like, he actually sounds like a normal human. Because when you watch a Neil Breen film, it's literally like you're watching someone put on a human face and try to act
yeah, like, right,
like
it's
a human.
It's like a reptile in like a
Yes.
human suit.
I
It's so
would not be
weird.
surprised if like he got a branch and it ripped off his face and it was like a centipede underneath. Like,
Yeah.
I've been found. No,
Or
go
like
back to my
or
home
like
planet.
the crab people, like the crab people from South Park. Crab people,
man, people, crab people.
but like it's weird watching him do a normal interview and then watching one of his films because it is so different. Like I don't get it. I really don't.
Well, the best way to like stop coughing.
I'm dying. I'm sorry.
Hey, whoa.
Listen,
You don't
okay.
got any of that corona here.
No, I had dairy this week and it gives me like phlegm and shit. I'm allergic to
I was
it.
going to say this podcast is going to have to end right now.
No, guys.
Look,
don't
I'm
say
just
the
having
C
bloody
word.
diarrhea. No big deal. I'm shaky.
Did you eat Chipotle beforehand?
Well, yeah. It's not corona.
Okay.
It's
Everything
Chipotle.
gives John
But,
bloody diarrhea. It's
The
okay.
thing to know
It's
about
cool.
Neil Breen is like, remember when you were playing as a kid and like, let's play superheroes, you know? And there was one kid who said, I'm the strongest, the fastest, the coolest, the smartest, and all the chicks want to bang me, and I have all the powers, and nothing can hurt me. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Are
So
you talking
you mean
about?
he's like it's like
That's Neil
Cartman
Breen.
from South Park? Bobak has many powers.
It's like that episode of Doug where like Doug was Quail Man and Silver Skeeter came in, but Skeeter didn't realize that for storytelling purposes he couldn't be like flawless all the time. And Doug's like, Skeet, the fuck, dude.
Is that it? Is that how that went? I don't remember
you know what?
that
I got an
episode.
idea for a podcast right now. An analyzation of every Doug episode.
Hard pass. You know, John
Matt.
likes to make up Doug episodes.
No, that's what I'm saying. It could be a made up Doug episode.
The episode on the Trestles happened.
Hard pass. Hard pass.
The episode on the Trestles happened.
John, I almost divorced you over that. Quick gaslighting.
Okay. So I had to stop it at the top. I honestly, like, I was watching this, and the best explanation for Double Down is that. But I will add this other thing. I mentioned this before we recorded.
Yeah.
It's like when you're 12 years old and You have yet to discover masturbation. Okay, so that's important to note. Okay, that's important to note.
Don't say shit like that when I'm about to take a sip of
But
coffee.
it's important to note that because the moment you discover that, childhood ends at that point, like it's done. So before that, your imagination runs wild. Okay, and it's not clouded up with sex and titties. Okay,
Titties, sweet as titties.
but my point is that when you're that age, you see an empty lot. And you see, like, they're building something, but it's still just an empty lot, and there's maybe, like, a mound of dirt. And you discover that you're going to, like, basically pantomime with invisible people there and play that you're this godlike character, the superhero character that wins at everything and has all. Yeah, but it's like an empty lot. Yeah. That's literally what Double Down is. It is Neil Breen acting with nobody. There's no antagonist.
It is like watching a kid play in the sandbox when like no one else is there.
But no one's around. And every once in a while, some people, like kids will come back and be like, oh, what you doing? I'm playing, superhero god creature. And I can't say human because it's not a human.
Cool story.
And then like they pop in for a few minutes and then they go home because it's dinner time. But then that one kid just sticks around there at that empty lot playing over and over and over again. And that's fucking Neil Breen.
Yeah, the guy
that's Double Down right there.
The guy bought himself a stock footage DVD, and he said, "Yeah, I'm going to make a movie." Around this. And what I'm going to do is, for my part, that I shoot, I'm just going to go out to the desert with a camera on a tripod and just eat some tuna and smack some keyboards and run around a mountain.
He did do the Vegas stuff. Like, he couldn't have faked that. Like,
no,
we watched and rewatched it.
There were some things that he obviously did not do that were the Vegas stuff. So
the close-ups where it was just this guy background. I agree with you. But when he was outside of the Luxor, he couldn't have faked that.
Oh no. Yeah, I mean he lives in Vegas, so I mean that makes sense. But like,
do you think he just like threw down sticks and hoped for the best?
Yes.
Because, like...
Do you think Neil Breen would go get permission?
No, of course not.
What are sticks?
Oh, I'm sorry. He put down a tripod.
Yes.
And what I'm referring to is most areas, like, you have to have a permit for shooting if you're going to use a tripod. And if you don't, usually you can get away with it.
Important way to discover that. When they cut to close-up in that scene when they're at the Luxor and he's talking with his handler or whatever the fuck that is,
God only knows.
The color of the sky is different.
It is. It's, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. That tells me right there. They cut the wide.
It's way bluer, right?
It's Neil's is more green and the other guy is more bluer. So it tells me they recorded different days.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you do in your intro to film class and your professor goes, see how this doesn't work? And you go, I won't do that again.
Well, it's what you do when you are rushing to finish the film because you procrastinated the whole time because you decided I'm going to go wear the filmmaker hat without making a movie. Yeah. And I have to prove myself that I've done something. Neil Breen is not a filmmaker. I would say that he is a assembly man. Well, he's assembling footage.
Well, this is something that we run into a lot. This is no different than I would say than oh shit! What's Derek's last name? Daddy Derek.
Daddy Derek.
Savage. That's it. Then Derek Savage.
It's just Daddy Derek.
Or Tommy Wiseau. Guys with money. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make you a filmmaker.
And by the way, when I looked up Neil Breen, it said people you may be interested in: Derek Savage, Tommy Wiseau. And I felt so bad Max Landis was there, but I know it's because he reviewed the movies. That. Yeah.
You know what? I would say that Neil Breen is the anti Tommy Wiseau. He's the anti-Wiseau.
Tell me why.
Okay, so here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. I believe, honestly, that Tommy Wiseau thought he was making a dramatic film.
Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm,
and then the minute that he realized that this is not a dramatic film, he played into the comedy. And he's been capitalizing off of the comedy.
Agreed.
Okay? Neil Breen believes that his movies are amazing and believes that his movies are speak to a higher calling or have a stronger, a higher message. And despite the fact that we all are shitting on the films, despite the fact that we're saying these are terrible movies, he still plays into the belief that these are good movies.
It's utterly terrifying because
he's the anti-Wiseau.
He believes what he puts in front of these movies. That he, is messianic in some way, that half the population should be murdered, that we should hunt down like government officials. Like, he basically is one step away from like mass shooter. And I guarantee when people started working for him, other people would pull him aside and be like, hey, Neil's an okay guy, but don't start talking about politics or philosophy around him because it is the most disturbing thing you'll ever hear. Someday, he said he's going to make a movie someday. I'd like to see that. And then he put all of his weird, disturbing ideas into these bizarre fucking movies he made.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, guys, the trivia is a combination on IMDb of actual trivia and then people that are clearly trolling him.
Ooh. Oh no, Brian almost sprayed coffee everywhere.
That was a close one.
That was awesome.
That was a close one.
Well, the first one here is clearly somebody trolling him. Production was briefly halted when Neil Breen accidentally fired himself when looking into a mirror.
Oh man.
Here's a real one. According to the credits, there was no lighting, makeup, or hairstyling.
That's a real one.
Yeah,
that's a real one. I saw it. I stuck around for the credits because I'm like, I have to see who actually worked on this fucking thing. And Neil makes the mistake that all filmmakers make. He puts his name in multiple times. I've done it. My wife makes fun of me all the time. She's like, "You put your name as the
stretch out the credits, right?"
And we all did. Who didn't do that?
Everybody did that.
The thing is, honestly, when you're making a film and you do sometimes just set up a tripod and you're in front of it because you're your main actor, and then your mom makes you a sandwich and she's like, catering.
Yes.
Right.
Because you want to put people, you want your movie to seem bigger.
Yes. So you're like, yes, but at the same time, if you are a one-man person, you are doing all the credits. So you don't want to put writer, director, editor, sound, everything, grip, everything. Yeah. What are you going to do? So you're going to stretch it out. But I saw that he did that. But the thing I saw was he put lighting. None. It literally says.
You could have just let them play.
It says none.
Why doesn't it say the sun?
Yeah, right. I was just going to say that. Yeah,
because Neil is the sun.
Lamps.
He is the sun god. Didn't you know that?
There weren't a lot of indoor
He is the sun and the moon.
Sun and the moon, yeah.
But one of the last trolling ones here is one of the few films not part of the French New Wave to function completely without a plot.
I'm not sure if function is.
Speaking of the plot, do we want to try?
Good luck.
Do we want to try?
Yes. Okay. So
let's try. Lane, go ahead.
So we're being assholes because it's terrible and we're very funny.
I think we're being honest.
But no, John, if you would break down the plot, I would
Oh, you motherfucker! you took the reins I got this shit.
No,
John, would you break down the plot?
If you would let me finish a sentence for the love of fuck. What I'd like to do is you explain the plot, and then I would like to explain one of the actual real filmmaking reasons why it's confusing and why it doesn't work.
That's a good thing.
Because we can shit on this all day long, but I would like to talk about filmmaking for a second.
Sure.
So, all right. We're introduced to a ferret-looking man in the desert.
Aaron Brand.
See, John explaining it's going to be way better than me doing it anyway.
And right outside of Vegas. And he's narrating, talking about how he is a super-duper government agent, but he's also a rogue agent, and he's going to kill everybody, but also save everybody.
He can control all technology.
Yeah, he can control all technology with his 45 laptops that aren't on.
And cell phones.
And his tuna.
And the year on this movie?
2005.
So, all the tech is, real outdated, too, which doesn't help the situation at all.
Yeah.
It's supposed to look really high-tech, and, he's, vice-gripped a couple of, cable satellites to his trunk and shit. It is amazing.
First of all, I gotta say, he must be doing a shitty job of bolting those things to his car, because he's had to replace the bolts on those satellites about 5 times throughout the entire movie. He literally half the time when he's working on shit, and I think he's reused the same shots in different takes, at least 20 to 30 times in this movie.
100%.
But yeah, he has satellites bolted to his car,
so he can use his laptops.
So he can use his multiple laptops.
But he has
phones.
3 at one time. You could open other tabs on one laptop.
Not in 2005. You fucking couldn't.
Yeah.
And he's got 6, 7 cell phones.
Yeah. Oh no. But too, he doesn't use any of them, so none of the screens are live. Everything's just black.
He's like an abandoned Radio Shack.
Because he's just those chimpanzees that are on the keyboards, just
smashing them.
Yeah. Not actually typing.
You mean the files are inside the computer?
Yeah. Inside?
Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. You're doing a killer jab.
Yeah. And then probably the grossest scene in the history of film is I can survive on tuna. and he's driving, and Tuna's hitting his dick.
It was the only scene I enjoyed.
I was gonna say,
Shoving fish in his face.
here's the thing that I
Eating it out
find
of the
hilarious
can.
about that. Okay, this man is supposed to be a super genius who can control all technology.
He's the only one that can save and kill us.
And save and kill. And he works for the government, but doesn't work for the government, but is a mercenary, but is a rogue agent. But he can't drive a car and eat tuna at the same time. Like that's blows my mind. I'm like, you can't. You do all these fucking things.
Dude, go to KFC and get a double down. You can drive and eat that.
You can eat it with one hand.
But no. Maybe you stop the car. If you're a smart person, first of all, if you're a smart person, you're not eating just tuna. You don't have like all the tuna. Why wouldn't he throw that shit out?
Guys,
like he literally, his whole back seat is nothing but fucking tuna cans.
It was 2005. We didn't have tuna in a pouch yet.
Actually, we did.
Did we?
We did. Yup.
Did we?
Yes, we did.
Damn.
Yeah, you son of a
we
bitch.
did.
Well, I didn't even know.
Well,
Neil's making us turn on each other.
Well, my point is the smartest man on the planet, but he cannot eat tuna and drive a car at the
He
same
needs
time.
to get some vegetables and fruit in his diet. Like, you can't just survive on tuna alone.
I was gonna say, what type of shit is that? You don't have any fiber at all,
He has,
Neil.
like, scurvy and rickets, like, because he hasn't got a vitamin.
Why do you have the jaundice? I don't eat vegetables or fruits. There's no fruit or vegetables in the desert.
Yeah, but he's basically just in the middle of the desert next to his car.
Yes.
Talking about, like, I put bombs in all the major cities. I myself am a bomb. Nobody would ever dare kill me. And it's cutting to rampant stock footage. Like, I put a bomb in Tokyo. And it's just footage from Japan.
Or he's talking about how he can control all the technology, and suddenly it's shots of NASA and shots of the International Space Station, and you're just like,
It looked like footage from, like, NORAD from the 60s.
Yeah, he had some stuff that was that I don't think it was from the 60s. I think it was like from the 80s or early 90s.
Right.
But clearly he bought a tape with stock footage and just decided this is all I need.
Well, do you guys remember that scene in Ed Wood?
Yes.
When the guy's like, Ed, come in here. I've got some news, like, stock footage. And he's like, wow, I could make a whole film out of this. What are they doing with it? They're probably just, put it on the shelf. That I think Neil Breen bought this, like, this footage, and he was like, I'm going to base an entire movie around this stock footage DVD that I bought.
But the thing I have to say, though, is, like, at least Ed Wood is saying, maybe, just maybe, I have some coherent plot to make that stock footage, like, make sense.
Yeah.
Like, you could say, and we can all agree that Ed Wood is not the scion of directing. But at least, compared to Neil, he's fucking Citizen Kane. But what I mean is that at least Ed Wood is saying, hey, this scene, there is an army thing happening with the aliens. So I probably should show stock footage of military and show missiles being shot off, and then cut to my own stuff I filmed of UFO being shot. Like, that's from Plan 9. Okay,
Right.
that is I would say it's not the best film. It's really not the best film, but at least it makes sense. This doesn't make any fucking sense.
Okay.
You know that it's the ISS, it's our space station. Why would you say that's some satellite thing in space?
It's
Okay,
a series of events.
Okay.
Yeah, Lane, please reel us back here
here's what
to
I'd like
filmmaking
talk about.
knowledge.
So the one filmmaking convention I'd like to talk about, the first thing I'd like to talk about is the soundtrack. And that's and I'm not talking about like music or anything like that. I'm talking literally about the sound. So one thing that he employs in this film is so when you're doing like a film, a lot of times you're filming someplace where it's not you can't hear what's happening in real time. A good example of this is when he does do that shooting at the Luxor. He's the camera person was definitely across the street. You couldn't hear them, obviously. And so for anybody that doesn't know how this works is you do what's called ADR, and that's that's the additional recordings that you have to do to do the audio then in post production. What happened is Neil did narration and he did ADR.
Yeah.
But he did them in the exact same way.
Yeah.
So you couldn't tell and good for him for his first film to do ADR instead of trying to get everything live in the microphone to a degree. You know, I mean, we all make different mistakes in films.
Better than Birdemic in that sense.
Brian, stop glaring. I mean, at least he knew how to do it, but that's the problem. So what I want to call everyone's attention to is something called diegetic sound. So diegetic sound is a
no
noise.
one can see my glaring lane.
I know, your eyes are so narrow right now. I'm not looking at you. So diegetic sound is a noise which has a source on screen. They are noises which have not been edited in. For example, dialogue between characters or footsteps. So another term for it is also actual sound. And a lot of times this can be done beautifully. Like I love when diegetic sound and non-diegetic sound. So say when like there's an action scene and you hear like a really bitchin' soundtrack, you know, on top of it. I always think of like Fluke during like The Matrix and stuff, like, you know, because I'm old. And but I love when movies do diegetic and non-diegetic like seamlessly, like when you hear a non-diegetic sound, but then it turns out it's on like the boom box and like the scene and the character turns it off. You know,
it's a good transition. Like a lot of times what I'll see is the scene transition happen where someone like, you know, if they're driving and someone, you know, has the radio on and then you hear that sound coming through and they're like reacting to it. And then that song kind of transitions to that main soundtrack.
It can be beautifully done.
It really can be.
And the mistake
Not here.
And then the mistake of this case is that since he did the narration and the ADR all in the same environment, he didn't mix anything.
No.
So it's very confusing to tell when is dialogue, when is, you know, the narration that we're supposed to understand. He didn't layer any other sounds under it. So like when we have that scene, I keep coming back to the one with the Luxor, he should have layered traffic.
Well,
wind,
there is
other sounds under it.
I will correct you. There is. It's just not very loud.
Oh, right.
It's the same, and this is something that he does consistently throughout this movie. He repeats the same sound effects and same audio tracks over and over again. Right. So, like, I heard that same traffic noise repeated in at least 5 other scenes.
Right. Oh,
so it was in this scene. It was also in a bunch of other ones, but it's the same sounds over and over again.
He bought another DVD of sound effects.
Right.
He didn't go and get his own. You know?
Well, no.
So, and the thing is, only had like 4 sound effects for traffic, so he used them all again and again.
And he does the exact same thing also with his music. The music that he's using basically 3 different tracks.
Right.
And honestly, as a filmmaker, I can tell you that music is supposed to heighten the emotional elements of the scene. And if you're repeating the same music over and over again, it loses any of that emotional impact.
Right.
You know, you could say it's a motif, but honestly, I don't think Neil is competent enough to understand that music can be used as a motif.
Right. And like I said, you know, we can shit on this guy all day and please let's.
Oh yeah, we will.
But the reason
we're not done yet.
A lot of reasons why this doesn't work is because he has his own footage and stock footage.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to make them work together.
Correct.
And then he has his dialogue and the ADR dialogue. A lot of times I couldn't tell because he's not a very good actor that his lips were moving. And I was like, oh, this is supposed to be happening in the moment. Yeah. It made it all too confusing to understand. And that's the big problem here, aside from the fact that he's a bad actor and like he has a Jesus complex of himself where he thinks he's God. You know, you couldn't understand what was happening because of those 2 failures in the filmmaking itself.
Yeah.
Well, our Lord and Kneeler doesn't need to move his lips to speak. How dare you?
He can use his mind.
Yeah, he can use his rubies in his mind. But I think what happened, if I may have some conjecture.
Sure, absolutely. Please.
I think that he didn't know what to do to make a movie, and somebody suggested him write down a couple of ideas, maybe just a couple of shorts, real short, 2 pages, get some ideas out. And he said, okay, I'm a government assassin. I'm with the woman I love in a pool, and she's killed because I'm the most deadly assassin in the world. And went, oh, that's a good start. Put it aside. I have to give people anthrax because they have to die, and I'm a secret agent. Good idea.
The anthrax?
That part,
he puts that aside.
Couldn't stand it.
He puts that aside. And then I'm going to be in the desert, you know, getting satellites from space because I'm going to control it and control the guy. Okay, put that one aside. And then he has like 17 story threads. And somebody said, okay, which one are you going to go with? And he went, yes.
Yeah,
and
right.
he just put them all together.
You know what? That is a very accurate depiction, because I was watching this, and despite questioning my own sanity while watching this, I was trying to figure out what is he doing, because it almost does feel episodic.
Yeah.
Throughout this, like
It's
you
almost
got
like a previously on Neil
Yeah.
Breen.
yeah, but it feels like you're getting like one little story, and then another little story, and then another little story, and then another little story, and that's supposed to be like they should just call this Aaron Brand. Just the name of the movie's Aaron Brand, and that would have maybe made some more sense, because at least you're like I'm wondering like where's the double down happening here?
Yeah.
What is he double downing on? Like
It's because it's Vegas. That's the
Because
only
it's-
reason.
I know it's
It might have
'cause it's
been-
Vegas.
It could have been called Blackjack. It would have made the same sense.
He's
Poker.
double downing on how shitty it
but
is.
like that's literally the Aaron Brand story. That's literally what they could have called this movie, and that would have made a little bit more sense, because it's all about him as the central character. And yeah, he's fucking giving people anthrax and killing people
But he's
for
also
no
saving
reason and saving them.
oh my god.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about
Yeah.
all of it yet,
So-
guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
God.
he's the villain and the hero.
He is the villain and hero. So we talked about him being in the desert. We talked about his fucking tuna. Let's talk about.
we talked about his tuna.
Okay.
Is that a euphemism for a love that can't be explained?
Oh, well, I want to get to the love. Let's talk about the main because we can't just have a movie with Neil Breen God complex here and his ability to crash our entire world with a click of a button that on a laptop that isn't even turned on. But there is some emotional love involved in this that runs through the whole fucking movie.
This poor
that makes
woman.
no sense. Yeah, I feel so bad for this woman, because she just kept getting called. Hey, I need you in the desert now. I need you to ask to stop time for the 5th time. So get into this, Mark. Do you want to explain this?
Okay, so I feel that, like, imagine you hate dogs and you're allergic to them, and you're stuck in a corner with a mastiff sniffing your vagina, and you can't get him to stop, and you're sneezing. That's what it must have been like for this woman to have to pretend to be in love with Neil Breen.
Oh my God, we can't
so
stop.
Great. It's so great. I don't want to like overly reference anybody else because we're doing our own thing, but I have so much respect for the guys at Red Letter Media, and you got to watch their review, Brian. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
But I love the one part where they're watching the scene where she does have to kiss him, and they're like narrating for her as she's like kissing, like, I'm only getting paid for the day. It's so funny. It like murdered me. It actually made everything okay again watching them.
So he's got a girlfriend that he was going to marry, that he's known and been in love with since he was 7. Which right off the bat, I gotta say,
the same thing as Fateful Findings,
yes,
isn't it?
It is.
It's
Yeah.
it's
It's
the
the
same
exact
plot.
thing.
I think Fateful Findings is just a remake
Well,
of this movie.
you know how
Maybe.
like Evil Dead 2 is a remake of the original Evil Dead?
Technically
It's kind of like that. But here's the thing I don't get. And right off the bat, I was like, Neil Breen in this movie has got to be like, what, 45? Because he's 60 now, right?
I know.
Yeah.
He's almost like
So-
our mom's age.
Yeah.
He's like 67.
He's like 60 some odd years old. So he's probably like 61, I think. Because you said 58 or 57.
58. He was born in
So
58,
he's around
so-
61 or 62.
Yeah. A
So-
little younger than our
yeah.
The
moms.
point is that when this movie came out,
Our baby
he
boy will
was
be turning 62 in November.
he was
Oh, he's getting so
probably
big.
around 40, like late 40s.
And she's like 24
And she's
years
like
old.
20.
Makes me want to vomit.
And you're getting like they have this whole like weird thing where they're like going back to when they were 7, and you're just like
The same age.
I'm like, what the fuck happened to 7-year-old Aaron Brand
It's that Las Vegas hair.
I was gonna say, because he got some hardcore city miles on him, like major league shit. I guess being out in the desert with your fucking laptops for the past 20 some odd years, if we're gonna call it that.
Yeah.
But the age difference.
Super aging ever was the coolest
But
ever.
the age difference is drastically noticeable.
Yeah. He could be her father.
Yeah, yeah.
If this is a
He's gonna
different
vomit.
movie,
And
he could have been cast as
and we
her
get this
father.
whole like thing where we realize she's dead, and like there's so much to unpack with this whole emotional thing. Do you want to start, John, on this? Because I
and then I want John to explain the death.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of View to a Kill, and that's when they knew that Roger Moore had to be replaced because, like, he has just old man marks all over his wrinkly old face, and there's some hot, like, 22-year-old model, and, like, He's just old balls rubbing against her. And like, there's a scene where he's like tucking her into bed and it's like, oh, her grandfather's putting her to sleep. That's nice. Like,
then 5 seconds later, not going to bed.
Hey, we still got Tim Dalton's number. Let's bring him in.
Oh my God, dying.
But yeah, like, so he, through the whole movie, it reminds me of Wolverine, like with Jean Grey.
Yes.
Like the Wolverine, or which one is it? The one where he's in Japan.
Yeah. That's
the Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
And even though this woman was never truly interested in him, and he spent about 15 minutes of his life with her, he fantasizes that she's like his guardian angel because Wolverine's a creep. But anyways, like he keeps having flashes of her as a ghost, like in his journey, and so does Neil, of this woman that he was in love with. And we get introduced to, I think, the first time to her. They're at a pool, and it's like, oh my God, I love you. Aaron, he's like, we'll always be together, babe. And when you're naked in a pool, usually you have modesty cloths on like a real film.
Well, she is wearing like a sheer, like
that's confusing because she's wearing a sheer thong, but it looks like she has one hell of a tan line.
I was gonna say,
it's
like,
so funny, like because at first I was like, whoa, and
I was like, whoa, he got her to be naked.
And
Neil wrote this so he could have boobies pressed against his chest.
Yes.
Like, it's like, oh, I'm gonna write a bunch of sex scenes in my movies that chicks have to like.
He easily could have written this song, or this song could have easily written this this scene for her to just be in a swimsuit.
Yes,
he chose not to.
He chose not to.
Well, let's try it again without your top on.
But anyway,
like, are you sure
go ahead.
We can make it in this way with you being like a super secret, awesome super spy who's smarter than everyone and have bombs in all the major cities? And he's like, don't worry about it, Bam. No one can ever hurt you. And then she gets shot in the face.
Well, she gets paintballed in the face because there are never any entry wounds. There are never any special effects makeup in this.
The continuity is absolute shit.
Quite literally is, I slathered some blood on you and now you are dead.
Neil,
doesn't take much.
Put a little appliance on her head.
Doesn't take much.
Get a quarter and get on there on fishing line.
Yep.
Put a little makeup on, pop it off, and then have a spray of blood on the behind her. It'll look like a gun entry wound. This is like
I can't.
This is like Tom Savini 101.
Well,
here.
This
I'll tell you though, John. I mean, like this is something I'll say that even when we were in college, like. John had a better grasp of that stuff, I feel like, than most people in our class, though. I was
the same way, too.
And I could see a lot of people having problems with this, like, not to the point of Neil Breen, but, like, I would say, John, like, that's not 101 for a lot of people, but if you're not good at that, find someone who is, because, I mean, literally the story of our marriage, John was better at the green screen software in our school than I was, so I was like, please help me.
Yeah.
And then apparently that just became, like, also, like, be my partner in life. Like,
right.
But that's how we got together. I knew what I wasn't good at, so I found somebody who was.
But the point is here's my thing. If you are reluctant to even do that much, if you are, say, a Neil Breen and you do not want to do that, don't write it. Don't put it in your movie.
Sure. If you're not willing to ask someone who's better than you.
Or, I don't know, find an alternate means of showing it. Like, we existed in cinema for years without showing blood. Without showing that sort of thing. You're telling me you couldn't creatively find a way to have her die and not show
Cut to the guy with the gun.
Cut to the guy with the gun, just gun going off.
Yeah. And then some birds flying off.
Yes.
And then cut back to her dead body.
Yes. But it's called that's the filmmaking part of filmmaking. Yeah. Creative problem solving. Not just slather some blood on, because he's done that multiple times in this movie. But she's dead. Her ass is floating up in the water.
And it cuts to him like, and good for her. We know why she was cast.
Yes.
But it cuts back to Neil holding like a bloody flower. Oh, why?
Well,
my boob trope.
Well,
my boob trope.
My boob trope.
Well, that's not even the best part. The best part is his reaction to her getting shot.
You mean his no reaction?
Like, his reaction is, oh, God.
He's just such a bad actor, you guys. He's such a bad actor.
He's almost smiling while it's happening.
It's a grimace, but yeah, exactly.
I would love to see the Seven Seal remade with Neil's dad playing chess.
Yeah. But anyway, she's floating, and then we get another shot, which is completely unnecessary, of Neil Breen floating next to her. Like,
he's like dead now?
Is he dead? And his grundle is completely showing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can.
The man's ball bag.
You can see his nugget patch just floating in the water.
Dude, did John ever send you that photo?
No.
Oh
no,
my God,
you
it was
didn't.
late. We were watching it late at night, and there's like a scene, obviously, that we're referencing, where like he's face down. You can just see like the bag.
It's the grundle.
And like John went up and he like looked at it, and I was like, John, I was like, take a photo of that and send it to Brian right now with absolutely no context. And John was like, no, it's like 1 a.m. I was like, oh shit. I was like, send it to him tomorrow. And he never did.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't love you as much as I do.
It's okay. I appreciate it. Man. So the point is that throughout the entire movie, her specter just kind of appears. And
but it's not clear at first that she's dead.
Well,
it's so weird.
Well, no, it is very clear that she's dead. But it's weird because there's literally a scene where I'm like, this is necrophilia going on. So he's apparently carrying her dead body around in a green knapsack. Okay. Did you guys notice this?
What's that?
Yes.
He's carrying the dead body around in a green fucking knapsack.
Sure is.
Okay.
Yep.
And there is a
that's
scene.
creepy.
There's a scene where obviously something is moving in the green knapsack. And I believe that he is having sex with the corpse.
Oh yeah, we thought that too. We thought that
Why
was
not? He's
No,
God.
but I'm just saying, like,
We
I
thought
really
that
think
was a distinct possibility.
I think he is fucking a corpse. I think he is fucking his dead corpse, which makes no sense because the corpse is now a skeleton. So he's having like rough skeleton sex with the corpse.
Yeah, we thought that this could very easily be likely too.
Because he's got music going on that's like, oh, it's lovey music, and then the bag is moving.
Yeah,
it's like that guy in Key West that like kept his beloved like.
Oh
in a
yeah,
because he thought he
like
could cure her death.
Well, isn't he also the guy who like lathered her up in like some kind of like wax shit so that he could continue to fuck her?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
It's a fun story. Look that
fun
one up,
story.
guys. Look up corpse fucking Key West, and then hit I'm feeling lucky.
John just sent you so many of these.
Oh god. Oh god. Yeah,
But-
I'm
So
seeing.
it's on our. Thanks so much for sending them to our group chat, John.
Yeah.
So that I can enjoy them too.
Yeah.
Dearest psychotic listeners, if you think that we're just being flipped, we are. But I challenge you to watch this movie and give a more detailed synopsis of what it's about. I mean, we are being dicks, but there's no way.
There's no way
to properly.
I mean,
there's no plot.
Well, I think it's important
It's a
to.
series
Well,
of
here's the thing.
egocentric events.
It's really
I think
bad.
it's important to break down at least like the key points in the life of Aaron Brand. So we have mentioned his
I
tuna.
love that you got his name and you remembered it. Because to
You're
me, it's just
nailing
Neil
it.
Breen.
That's because I got IMDb.
You're nailing it, man.
So we've talked about his mission, who he is, his tuna inability to drive a car,
His tuna inability.
his necrophilia,
Everybody has to have kryptonite.
his necrophilia, and I would say psychosis with his dead girlfriend. I would say they're not married yet.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
let's talk a little bit about his missions, the missions of Aaron Brand.
Oh my God.
You mean when
his
he's
first
not
one-
having, like narcolepsy and like passing out for a few days at a time?
Well,
That was confusing
that's the
too.
first
He's
one.
having like nightmares.
That's the first one. He is having nightmares, and he is waking up next to a car that says "Help me" in blood. That happens multiple times.
Well, like, okay, so it took me a long time to figure out he was sleeping in the car, but then he'd wake up outside of it in the morning.
Yes.
Who the fuck sleeps in the desert with a door open in their car?
Neil Brain does.
That's so dumb. Like, there's so many dangerous
Let me
things
tell
in
you
the
something.
desert
The door
at
was
night.
open so they could get the shot.
Well,
I know.
let me tell you something.
I know.
In the life of Aaron Brand, all animals and all creatures and all people know not to attack him because he is a god.
But also, do you know how fucking cold the desert gets at night?
Very cold.
I have microchips in every hyena
Yes.
in the world.
Oh my God.
So he's a narcoleptic. So he wakes up in the middle. Like, he just literally wakes up in the middle of the desert. On top of that, his missions. And this might not be verbatim, but
There's about 12 of them.
there's about 12 of them. One is to what was it? He assassinates on the side. By the way, he's very flippant about this. He's just like on the side. I take care of white collar criminals, just murdering people.
Every one of
And
his movies, he's
burying
obsessed
them
with
in the desert.
politicians and white collar criminals. Like,
yeah, it doesn't make
and
a
like,
great deal of
look,
sense.
we all say
Not
like,
gonna
oh
lie.
man, Wall Street's the worst and blah blah blah.
I'm not
But-
gonna kill them.
But yeah, you have that one guy in the room who goes, "We should fucking get a gun God, and it's like, oh God, do we need to
like-
report this guy?
Like maybe don't do that.
Because that's
Let's
Neil
not.
Breen. Like,
Yes.
what if we just killed them all? It's like, okay, let's not invite Neil to our next tapas party.
No.
Yeah.
Please no.
So he's killing white collar criminals. The next thing is it's very confusing. But he's supposed to like turn off Vegas or distribute anthrax.
Yeah.
To Vegas.
Distribute anthrax, shut off Vegas. Control the satellites in space.
I like they're
Kill-
listing this like it's the most normal thing on
Kill a
earth.
bride.
Oh yeah, that's an important one.
Yeah.
That's a mission. So he goes undercover as a limo operator, a limo
It's
driver.
the most confusing
and
mission ever.
He's told that he needs to take care of these criminals, these terrorists.
Friend of the
Okay.
show, Bonnie Henham.
Oh, Bonnie Hannah. And he this shows how inept and how not a god Neil Breen is.
Not a god.
Or Aaron Brand, if we're going to get technical. He kidnaps the wrong couple.
Yeah.
Okay, he's going as a limo driver, kidnaps this couple that they're apparently the terrorist at a little wedding chapel, puts them in his car, gives them which again, this is kind of strange. Who has strawberries in their champagne? I don't know anyone who does, but gives them
It's supposed to
drugged,
be good together.
gives them drugged strawberries in champagne glasses. They the one guy is dead. Like I think he's dead.
Neil Breen killed that bitch.
Yeah, he killed him. the bride, who is our friend of the show, she wakes up and he's like told her, "Ha, we had sex. We're married now," and lying to her, and then realizes, oh, they're the wrong couple, and he should have killed the wrong people. Drops her off on the side of the road.
Husband? I thought he just
I think
left
he's
him in
dead.
the trunk.
I think he's dead.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Pretty sure
then
he's
that
fucking
was
dead.
definitely a
Maybe that's who's in the green sack. Maybe he's butt fucking this like husband corpse.
That was definitely a continuity error then because I saw him breathing.
Well, I also saw him helping himself get into the trunk too. Okay, so there was that as well.
Hey, we saw that in Empire Strikes Back. The guy helped himself get it, so it's good movies too.
It's fair. It's
But
fair.
I'm trying to wrap this up here.
Sorry, guys.
So he drops off the bride on the side of the road.
I think we're slowly losing our minds.
So
No, I feel
drops off
that.
the bride
I
on the
feel that
side of the
hard.
road and says, "Here's your husband," and then leaves, and then goes back to find the couple and finds that they've committed suicide while sitting up.
Because they
Yeah.
were so afraid of
They
him.
they
They shot themselves
in the face, and they didn't fall over. That
They fell back to back. How convenient.
Yes.
maybe it was like an air gun. Maybe they just shot air through their skulls.
First of all, there was no entry room, so again, he paintballed them in the head.
Was the shot on the front, like between their eyes? Was
Yes.
that supposed to be the entry wound?
Yes,
Okay,
it was. Well, one, they're not shot. There was just blood thrown
It's like
there.
the magic bullet. Like apparently, it didn't knock their heads back.
It didn't knock their heads back. It created no entry wound. It just created blood with no wound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
so
again, the effects were really lacking.
so
Guys.
that's midway through the adventures of Aaron Brand. And then what do we get to next? We get a
I love you
a
just said
shootout.
enough plot for 7 movies, and you said
I
we're
know.
halfway through.
Yeah, we're halfway through.
it's rough.
And then we get this anthrax buyout thing. Like they're buying anthrax from a terrorist group,
Yeah. And he's also putting it in the water
and then
system
putting
This
the
is
water
when I
system.
started to hate all of cinema.
because
by
he
the
wanted
way.
to kill all the fish.
Yeah. Well, that was earlier, but anyway,
This is when my
there's
hatred of all
a
cinema and my
shootout.
giving up on the
There's
world
a shootout between either rogue agents or similar agents. Like they don't never explain it. That ends, and then what I find hilarious is when the two people who he's obviously bought to be in the movie, so it's not just him talking to himself.
Yeah.
They're like, he's highly protected. You can't.
That was jarring.
You can't get him. He's protected.
It's
at
Neil
the highest
Breen.
levels.
Yeah. In the desert by himself the entire movie with stock footage.
And
And
there's
then
two
he
people.
just cuts to him at a dinner party.
Yeah.
And I was
oh
like, what
my
the fuck?
lord.
There was a bachelor party I went to where we bought it was 12 hours of fucking DVD.
Yeah.
And all of it was, there's no plot. And I'm like, oh, I come here to fix the pipes. It's just raw dog and pounding.
Raw
Wait a
dogging.
minute. This is a bachelorette party?
A bachelor party.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, but
And-
it's literally just a 12-hour TV.
Yeah, and like
Fucking-
we were actually kind of after a while we were kind of bored because like there was
it gets
no
bored.
plot.
It's just mechanics at that point.
But suddenly, in the middle of this DVD, a car pulls up, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get a plot!" and he parks, and there's like different angles, and he closes the car door, and then it just cuts to more ass pounding. And I was like, what was that? And that's what this movie was. I'm like, okay, Neil in the Desert stock footage, Neil in the Desert stock footage. We're suddenly at a dinner party. Who are these people? Why are we in a house now?
The best part is he's telling them all about how amazing of a superhero, secret agent, godlike character that he is.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
isn't this shit classified?
Shouldn't you not say all this at a dinner party? Like,
well, nobody can hurt him or touch him anyways. So
yeah, well, he's protected at the highest levels.
Yeah.
You can't even track him. We tried, and he eluded us. It can't be done. Yeah. And then we get to one of the most confusing fucking elements of this movie. And I do want to mention this one separately.
Where he becomes a little deity.
Yes. So, amidst all of this, like, destruction, saving of the world that Aaron Brand is doing, he comes across a old man in the desert.
Oh yeah, that's good
who
times.
Is just sitting in the desert and is dying because he reaches towards him and trips and falls on a stone.
And he bashes his skull.
Literally, his skull is bashed
no continuity.
in.
There's
no
blood,
continuity.
There's no blood. There's no blood.
Yes,
there's blood.
yes. And Aaron has his gun and then another gun in his crotch.
Yep.
Because that's a common thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Which I'm like, Aaron, you're going to shoot your dick off, okay?
That's what John said. That's literally what he said when we were watching
You're going to shoot your fucking dick off. And he's got the gun pointed on him, tries to help the old man. The old man's like, you're the one, and gives him fool's gold. That is not real gold. That is fool's fucking gold.
I said the same thing. Yeah. I was like, motherfuckers. I was like, that's some goddamn pyrite up in this shit. Get out my face.
So he's got this magic stone now. That, again, the old man has...
magic stone, a.k.a. fool's gold. I was like, what the shit?
Gold. Which, again, if there is any, I don't know, symbol for this movie, it is fool's fucking gold.
Oh, yeah.
Like, literally.
That's what the movie should have been called.
That's a fucking metaphor.
Isn't that a
right
Matthew
there.
McConaughey and Kate Hudson movie?
Yeah.
I'm starting to think the ruby was inside him all along.
Oh, man. But apparently,
apparently
he has this fool's gold magic stone that literally does give him god powers. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he tries to use it on a little girl to heal her brain cancer.
No, to cure her brain cancer.
Yes,
he tries
cure
to
the brain cancer.
Brain cancer. I can't.
Can I reenact this scene?
Please,
absolutely.
Please do.
Oh, could I get some more water? Neil says, and the little girl's like, "I'll get it for you." And she leaves the table, and the mom goes, "Sure sucks. She's got brain cancer." And the dad's like, "Yeah, she's gonna die like tomorrow." And she comes back. She's like, "Here's your..." And Neil's reaction is, "Oh, that's terrible." And she comes,
"Let me touch your head."
Yeah. And then, like, as you normally do when people have children, he just cups her head and just holds it there.
And then talking to himself in narration's like, "You are healed now."
Yeah. And the little girl's parents offsetly
they're all cool with it.
"This weirdo guy's gonna touch your head. Just don't react, honey." Which is even worse than her, like, maybe giggling or something, because, like, she's just sitting there stone-faced while this little serpent man is just cupping her face.
It's easy to have that reaction when Aaron has put Valium in the water supply.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So they have no reaction.
Valium
they're drinking the Valium anthrax water.
Oh, like, darn, I drank my own
We don't know
supply.
who this man is who's come into our house.
Yeah.
Here, have a dinner. So, yeah, he's got this god stone. And then he finds out later in the movie that he didn't really heal her. She's dead.
Yeah. So we can add child death.
And then he kind of has this moment where, like, again, towards the end, he kind of starts to lose his fucking mind. Yeah. Like, it really felt like to me like he's losing his mind because he's asking for where his girlfriend is at in the desert. He starts running. He starts running through the mounds of the desert, screaming. Which there is one scene where I actually got to say I laughed. Because it's a wide shot of him going, and just running. I mean, granted, I'm watching it.
I think you just broke John.
I don't think I've ever broke you before. I think this is the first. But he's literally running down the desert, screaming for where his girlfriend is. He's going,
You may ask yourself, how did I get here with the shame?
It's and it's funny because like I think that a scene like that would
The
be
desert
difficult.
madness.
I think it'd be difficult for anybody, but like it's not. I mean, obviously it's not a good script.
Yeah.
and he's just a horrible.
There was no
fucking
script.
actor.
Script? What?
I mean, he's just a horrible fucking actor. It's just
Oh.
a shame, but like it would be hard for anybody, even with talent, to get that right. And like he's just behind the curve, man. Like it's just it was never gonna work.
Do you think you think this was a giant music video? And they filmed so much footage, they went, let's just turn it into a feature.
No way.
No.
This is the
if you cut this to
ramblings
music,
of a
it could maybe
madman.
work.
Yeah.
It's madness. It
Aside
is
from that, I'm
madness.
missing. I think I'm missing one. There's one final mission. This was
I forgive
where
you.
I started to check out.
Yeah.
And it's dealing with actually like you've got the head of the FBI, the head of Homeland Security, and they're just sitting. There's just literally Aaron is doing something. And I'm sorry, I don't have much more than that. He stops whatever plot that he probably enacted.
Well, remember, Brian, he has 6 Purple Hearts. He's a decorated 5-star soldier.
He wears his jean vest,
Cut
Purple
off,
Heart.
sleeveless, and wears all his medals on his jean jacket. Because he's badass.
He's badass.
Oh my god, this actually openly offended me because number one, like the medals, like he's pretending he earned like. I take
Stolen valor.
I mean, I take service to our country very seriously. It's something that I didn't do, and like anytime I even see someone out and about, like I always thank people for their service. And two, we had a family friend who actually passed away last year. He earned a Purple Heart, and he never told anybody about it until his kids made him get like the award framed and stuff to put in his house, and he still never told anybody about it, but at least it was in his house, like that like his kids could see it and his grandchildren could see it and everything. And for him to put a fucking Purple Heart on like a fucking Baby Gap vest, you remember, John, I was mad.
Well,
I was
he
really
probably
pissed.
just got those from a pawn shop.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's exactly where he got them
which
from.
which is so gross.
Are you
know what
guys
I mean?
saying that Neil isn't a decorated war soldier?
That was like, and two, like I will readily admit, like I'm hard to offend, but that really pissed me off because like it's one thing to pretend you're like secret, Mr. Super Secret Agent Man, like that's just pretend, but to pretend that you received like really top honors from our country, like I just thought that was an awfully poor taste.
I think I have this figured out. It's Einstein meets James Bond meets Rambo meets Jesus.
There you go.
Those are the 4 people he is.
So
is.
just to wrap this up with a pretty fucking bow. Because
You're so dead inside, Brian.
I just got to say,
You're done.
this movie, I would say, I don't think it broke me because I still came here today to talk about it. I think if it broke me, I'd just be like, I can't come in, guys.
Yeah.
We're canceling recording this. But it damn near came close. Like, Lane, you said this made you hate movies while watching it.
For like a solid
Not
90
just bad movies, not just Neil.
Not
movies.
just- all movies.
For like
All
a solid 90
Moving
minutes
images.
after.
This made me, I don't want to say question my sanity, but just question the sanity of Neil Breen. It made me question his sanity.
Did it make you question John's sanity?
No, it did not, because
Oh.
I know John.
Okay.
And I know that he gets joy out of this sort of thing. Okay? You're kind of a sadist. A little bit.
Well, guys, I don't know about this. I think we have at least one more Neil Breen movie this year, so and maybe
Oh,
Well,
man.
listen, this is the worst one.
And that's what I have heard, is that it is the worst
Fateful
one.
Findings was much more enjoyable. So,
two. Well, I Am Here Now is our next.
I wonder,
Can't wait.
will Neil Breen play a godlike Masonic character in that?
He literally is, though.
I wonder.
In I Am Here Now, he literally comes from heaven.
You say heaven. I say hell.
I love it.
One person's heaven might be another person's hell, and my guess is that for
No,
him,
I say
it's
tomato.
yes. But to wrap this all up, this movie is an experience. Needless to say, I would say do not watch this sober at all. I've said that a couple times with certain movies. I think this is definitely one that you have to watch with friends. You have to be drunk off your fucking ass.
I mean, if
to
you
get
7 to 8
any
friends.
enjoyment.
Yeah.
I mean, if
any
you don't
enjoyment.
drink, at least like treat yourself to something like delicious to eat, or like have something fun.
Well,
you know?
I think that's having friends around to watch it. Like, I think this is a movie that if you're gonna shit talk, this is a perfect film for it. I'd say this is actually probably better than The Room to shit talk, because The Room, you kind of want to know what the plot is. But this one, you've got the luxury of there's no plot.
So if you shit all over it, you're not going to miss anything.
You're not going to be like, oh, I really want to know what Aaron Brand was going to do with that anthrax that he just laced all over someone's arm. But with this,
nowhere.
because it does go nowhere.
It's incredible. It is incredible.
I'd say this is a good movie to kind of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 and just kind of, shit talk. It's not a good movie to just watch by yourself.
Yeah.
It will make you angry.
It will. You'll be upset, and then you'll call us and you'll be very angry.
And I mean, honestly, I thought that Cool Cat was the worst when it came to this sort of thing.
You were wrong.
Because watching that by myself was hard.
By the way, guys, April 20th, Cool Cat Flips a House is streaming on the internet.
Oh, no.
Yikes.
I wonder who'll be the first one to watch it. Looking at you, John.
I don't know. Cool Cat was very mean to me.
He bullied you online.
Do you want to mention that he did bully you online?
Oh yeah, well,
Your medium earned it.
I've been twatting at old Cool Cat.
Twatting.
I've been sending him some tweets.
You haven't DM'd him, have you?
What's that?
You haven't DM'd him, have you?
I don't think I don't think the cat's DMs
are
are open.
No, John did not slide into those DMs.
But yeah, and he basically called me ugly.
He did.
Yes.
He did.
And said that looking in the mirror was a fate worse than death for me. A cat. A giant cat.
A monstrosity and like abomination of God.
I just thought it was hilarious because this is coming from Mr. Don't Bully and beat up bullies,
Oh, yeah. And
himself.
I'm not alone. Like, if you go through some of these comments, like,
he
Derek
really
is
mean.
Savage. On a lot of
he
people.
Is.
Who would have guessed?
He really is.
He'll be like, yeah, Cool Cat says you could suck a bag of dicks. Yay!
Well, you know who, aside from Neil Breen, who is from Vegas, Derek fucking Savage.
I think it makes you crazy. I really do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So John, what are your final thoughts on this abomination?
I think that it is fascinating because anybody who has this kind of like godlike complex who wants to make a movie has no ability or money. These things never see the light of day.
Yeah.
So the fact that we can actually, to me, this is almost like a brilliant study in megalomaniacal ineptitude that you don't really get an opportunity to really see that often. So if you like breaking down film, I would say that's another reason to see this. Because just watch a guy who said, oh, you don't think I can do it? I'm going to go out in the middle of the desert with a camera and a tripod, and we'll see who's laughing last, and he'll get it out of his system. And then he makes a feature-length film, and then like 4 more after.
He'll get it out of his system.
And yeah, it is fascinating. It's frustrating as hell. It sucks. It's confusing. It's baffling.
It hurts, but all good things, like all things that are
Right.
good for you hurt a little, right?
Right. Like the first time anything goes in your butt, it doesn't feel good, but you learn to like
Well,
it.
I would say that if you are a filmmaker and you are hard on your own work, watch this movie.
You'll feel so much
You will
better.
feel so much better. Like, honestly, watching this, because I always say, like, your first film is always your worst one. You didn't know what the fuck you were doing.
Yeah.
You had continuity issues.
You set up a camera.
You set up a camera hoping for the best. I watched this movie and I realized that my first film, which no one has really seen, I don't think you guys have seen it, is Citizen Kane compared to this shit. Like, whoa. Makes you feel so much better.
Brian Wells.
Yeah. Lane, your final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed talking about it with you guys, and I was kind of like dreading this episode in a way, but I don't know why, because I've just had like so much fun discussing it now, like now that I'm thinking about it. And I think if you kind of take, like John said, the approach of like breaking it down and thinking about the principles of film when looking at this movie, I think you're going to have a better time.
Yeah.
That being said, I am never fucking watching this with you again.
No.
I don't give a shit if it's your birthday.
No.
Or what. I'm never
No.
watching this again.
So if it's my
ever.
Make-A-Wish, I'm on death's bed because of
You're-
coronavirus.
Listen,
Pick
if you
another
don't make
one.
a wish, you
Pick
could
another one.
probably get Sidney Crosby to watch it with you. So like, I'm out. Bye.
I'll have Neil come and watch.
I was going to say your Make-A-Wish should be Neil Breen comes in and does a
Damn right.
in-person commentary on Double Tap.
Damn.
What would you like,
right.
John? Hand job from Cool Cat.
Oh, God. Oh, you're the worst.
Oh, your hands are so
man.
furry.
Oh, no, they weren't furry. They're just stiff.
Nasty.
Cool Cat doesn't use napkins.
Technically, Technically, Cool Cat is underage, but he's a cat, so you can add 7, whatever his age is.
All right. We must leave you with that, dear listeners.
So, John, where can they find you at on the Twitter machine?
At the real Derek Savage. or message him if you want. You can find me at the Unreal J Wolves.
Oh, Lane.
At LA_Croft.
You can find me at Brian Cointown on the Psycho Show page. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Psycho Show. You can also find us on the Epicast Network at epicastnetwork.com. If you have a favorite movie or question you want to throw away, or you too want to discuss your therapy that you've had to endure after watching Double Down, you can contact us at cinemapsychoshow.com. You can also leave us a voicemail message at our SpeakPipe on that website as well.
Do it.
Do it. You can also subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and iTunes, and we will catch you next time.
Not as good as Triple Down.